Walking on the sea. To begin today, I'd like you to think of times when you were at the beach and paddled in the water. Were you able to walk on the water, or did it cover your feet? If you are at the swimming pool, can you walk across to the other side on top of the water, or do you have to swim over? Only very light things can float on top of the water, such as corks, toy boats, and empty bottles with lids. Would a stone float? You could try with a bowl of water to find out what will float and what will not. Our story takes place again on the shore of the Sea or Lake of Galilee, which we talked about last time. Jesus had been telling stories to crowds of people. When evening came and the people went to their homes, Jesus told his disciples to go ahead of him to the other side of the water. He wanted to be alone and went up into the hills to pray. When the boat was a long way out, the wind started to blow strongly. The water became very rough, and the waves were high. The disciples were afraid and took it in turn to watch. Towards morning, they saw Jesus walking towards them on the water. But they thought it was a spirit or a ghost, and were very frightened. Jesus called out to them, "Take courage, it is I, have no fear." Peter said, "Lord, if it is you, ask me to come to you over the water." Jesus then said, "Come." Peter got down from the boat into the sea and started to walk to Jesus. But he saw the terrible storm and felt the wind blowing. He became afraid and started to sink into the water. He cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus stretched out his hand to Peter, caught hold of him and said, "Why didn't you believe me? Why did you doubt?" When Peter was back in the boat and Jesus with him, a wonderful thing happened. The wind stopped blowing, the sea was calm, and the boat was no longer tossed about. Then the disciples knew that Jesus was with them, and they knelt and worshipped him. If we have a problem and seem to be tossed about in a storm and are afraid, we can also speak to Jesus, and he will help us to feel calm and peaceful.